Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmad Fakri Shah bin Anwar Shah, and today I'll be presenting about my written report analysis. The title I have chosen is Sonnet 18, Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day by William Shakespeare. Sonnet 18, Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, often in his gold complexion time, and every fair from fair sometimes decline, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lost possession of that fair thou owest. Nor shall death break thou wanders in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as man can breathe or eyes can see, so long live this, and this give life to thee. So that was Sonnet 18, Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day, that was written by William Shakespeare, or his real name Gallimus Shakespeare. Shakespeare was a playwright, poet, and an actor from England. Shakespeare was raised in the Warwickshire town of Stratford-upon-Avon. He was believed born on about April 23rd, 1564, and he was baptized in Stratford-upon-Avon, 100 miles northwest of London. He is largely recognized as the greatest English language author and the greatest playwright in history. He is frequently referred to be the Bard of Avon, or England's national poet, or simply the Bard. His published works, collaborations, comprised 39 plays, 154 sonnets, 3 lengthy narrative poems, and a few other verses. Some of those authorship is disputed. His plays are produced more frequently than those of any other playwright, since they have been translated into every significant living language. They believe he wrote over 375 poems in his career. Right, for the background, Sonnet 18, Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day, was written in 1609. It was written from the statement of praise about the beauty of the beloved, and describe all the ways in which their beauty is preferable to a summer day. Sonnet 18 was made up of various kind of figurative languages, literary devices, and sound devices. In the sonnet, Shakespeare asked whether he should compare the fair youth to a summer's day, but notes that he has qualities that surpass a summer's day. The stability of love and its power to immortalize someone is the overarching theme of this poem. The poet begins with an opening question, Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? And spends the rest of the poem answering that question. Shakespeare uses these devices to also ensure the permanence of his poem, ensuring that it is everlasting and never succumbs to death like his beloved. This poem is very straightforward in language and intent. Several poetic devices enhance the poem's meaning through the use of form, imagery, and figurative language to express how his beloved possesses an internal beauty that far surpasses the brightness of that all too fleeting summer's day. In this poem, Shakespeare represents his beloved as a praise to her beauty. Summer can be windy and hot and extremely uncomfortable, but to be loved is always moderate and temperate. Shakespeare promises the lover an eternal summer, which is represented as the eye of heaven with a gold complexion. The imagery is straightforward and unadorned throughout, with the darling buds of May giving way to the eternal summer. For sonnets, the language is also rather bare. There is little to no alliteration or assonance, and practically every line is on its own. It contains clause, like almost every line ends with some punctuation which affect a pause. With 3 quatrains and a couplet in each of its 14 lines of iambic pentameter, Sonnet 18 is a standard English Shakespearean sonnet. Additionally, it follows the typical rhyme pattern A B A B, C D C D, E F E F, and G G. The poem adheres to the Petrarchan or Italian sonnet rhetorical style. Petrarchan sonnets frequently discuss the beauty and affection of a beloved, often unreachable love. The 3rd quatrain marks the start of a volta or change in the poem's subject matter. Sonnet 18, Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day, was made up by various of literary devices and sound devices. In line 11, Shakespeare uses personification to personify death by capitalizing the word and claiming that death will never brag though wanders in his shade. Line 11. Death's ability to brag is the perfect example of personification, as it assigns the very human social interaction of bragging to the idea of death. Personification usually adds life, energy, and an element of relatability to things that would otherwise be lifeless. As example, Shakespeare uses the sun's complexion dim in comparison to his beloved. This poem also employs imagery. Imagery is used to make readers perceive things involving their 5 senses. It uses vivid description that appeals to a reader's senses to create an image or an idea in their head. So it is very important for the readers to imagine this in order to understand poetry. For example, rough winds do shake darling buds of May in the line 3, and but thy eternal summer shall not fade in line 9. Moreover, Shakespeare purposely used metaphor to create images that are easier to understand and easier to respond to than literal language. Metaphor can make your words come to life, so Shakespeare uses metaphor to make the subject more relatable to the reader, and it is easier for them to understand. As an example, his beloved's life is described as summer in his poem. In addition to literary devices, Shakespeare also uses tons of sound devices to emphasize keywords in a phrase or line, as well as to create a sense of rhythm, enhance mood, and provide a poetic impact of words and sounds. For instance, Shakespeare uses assonance in his poem to mark a repetition of the vowel sounds in the same line, because without it, this poem will not sound parallel or rhythm. As an example, the sound of OU in Nor lost possession of that fair thou owes in line 10. Next, alliteration. Alliteration can also be found in this poem. Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds in the initials of 2 successive words. The particular reason of why Shakespeare's purposely using alliteration in his poem is because he wants to show a poem that have a repetition of consonant sound in words that are closer together. As an example, the sound of I in So Long Live This, line 14, and the sound of T in Two Time Thou Growest in the line of 12. Lastly, consonants. Consonants is the repetition of consonant sounds in the same line. This actively demonstrates that Shakespeare uses this in order to make it easier for the readers to identify the repetition or identical or similar consonants in neighboring words whose vowel sounds are different. As an example, the sound of R in nor shall death break thou wonders in his shade, line 11, and the sound of S in so long live this, and this gives life to thee in the line 14. Right, that's all for literary and sound devices. To sum everything that has been stated so far in my report, Sonnet 18, Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day by Shakespeare, he uses Sonnet 18 to praise his beloved beauty and describe all the ways in which their beauty is preferable to a summer's day. The stability of love and its power to immortalize someone is the overarching theme of this poem. Shakespeare also admits that every fair from fair sometimes decline. He makes his mistress's beauty an exception by claiming that her youthful nature will never fade. This poetry is so good that it can change your perspective about someone or something in a certain way. This poem made me realize that the beauty of everything, no matter human, animals, or your surroundings, is temporary. Just like summers, which always come to an end, and all beautiful things will eventually too. That's all from me. Thank you.